Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Waiver Wire Queen. Today is day 2 of a 5-day mini series in which I give you 2 more players I feel will be great sleepers for the 2021 fantasy football season. And then I'm going to give you 1 rookie who is a sleeper, and this is strictly for dynasty leagues. And if you're using the sleeper app, you can place that rookie in the taxi squad until he gets a chance to perform. But before we jump into that, y'all hit the like button if you love fantasy football and you want to see more great videos by Waiver Wire Queen, in which I give you sleepers and different things to help you along during your fantasy football season. All right, y'all. So let's jump right into it. So the first player on this list is David Johnson with the Houston Texans. That's right, y'all. David Johnson. Now you're going to say, well, he's always injured. Okay, hear me out. So he's 29. He's 6'1". He actually had a solid season last year with the Houston Texans. He missed a few games, but for the most part, he played well. He had 147 carries, 691 rushing yards. He had 6 TDs, and he averaged 4.7 yards per carry, which is really good, especially considering most people weren't high on him. And if you drafted him, you got a nice steal at where you picked him up at, because most people weren't checking for him. He had 33 recs on the season, 314 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. This offseason, they signed Philip Lindsay and Mark Ingram. I don't think Mark Ingram is going to take too many touches away from David Johnson unless he gets hurt. Philip Lindsay is definitely going to see some touches, especially on third down in any passing situations. The great thing about adding David Johnson is the fact that who's going to be their starting quarterback? I honestly don't think Watson will be playing this season, and that leads me to believe that they're going to be running the football a lot. They have wide receivers out there who are solid, but they're not going to have that quarterback like Watson. They're going to have him out there. So I believe the running game is going to be highly important. And so this is why David Johnson is going to be a solid pick later on in the draft. It'll be a sneaky pick because, like I said, most people are not checking for him. In standard leagues, he averaged 13.8 fantasy points per game. In PPR leagues, he averaged 16.5 fantasy points, which is solid for both. If you're looking for a flex play, or even if you grab him and he's someone who comes off your bench, that is a solid starting running back to have come off your bench. And the goal is to have all starting running backs if you can get them, or to at least have someone, even if they're going to be the other guy backing someone up, that they're going to get solid minutes. They're going to get the touches. They'll be in that backfield consistently. And David Johnson is the starter for the Houston Texans. And again, there will be running that ball a lot. So what do? You go in and you draft him with confidence. You don't have to reach and draft him early. He will be there to mid to late rounds. So pick him up and put him on your bench. You don't have to draft him as your RB2, but you can draft him as a great flex play. But if you dare to draft him as an RB2, I still feel like you'll have solid production from him. All right, y'all, let's talk about my second sleeper for the 2021 fantasy football season. We have JD McKissic from the Washington football team. That's right, y'all, the Washington football team. So he's 27. He is 5'10". So obviously we know that Antonio Gibson is the starting running back. However, he had suffered some injuries last season, kind of in and out of the lineup. McKissic obviously took it upon himself to have a solid season. He really did. He's more of a third down passing running back. He should be in there during any passing situations. And when you have Ryan Fitzpatrick, that's going to be a good idea to get him in the lineup with Ryan Fitzpatrick, especially on any third downs. You throw those little short passes to him. On the 2020 season, he had 85 carries for 365 yards and 1 touchdown, which is solid. However, the receiving game, he had 80 catches, 589 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns, which is really solid. And sometimes that output was better than some tight ends and some wide receivers. So that is solid. They used him, and yes, they used him more because Gibson was hurt, and then the other guys really didn't step up. Even though Gibson is the starting running back, McKissic is going to get carries. I could see him going in that area where you'll see someone like a Jamal Williams going, and you're gonna be like, well, at this stage of the game, who am I gonna pick up? If you can draft McKissic, go on and make that pick with confidence. This is not an early pick. This is a late sleeper pick, which will benefit your team later on and also just throughout the season. Obviously, they want to get Antonio Gibson some more reps and get him in the passing game as well. Okay, it's still not going to affect McKissic's production. So you can definitely look and target him as a late sleeper. If nothing else, he can come off your bench and he'll be solid. Let's talk about what he did fantasy wise as far as points per game. Standard fantasy leagues, 9.6 fantasy points, and then PPR 14.6 is really good for a running back who is not your starting running back. I believe that the Washington football team is going to be in a lot of passing situations, and he's going to be on the field for those. Even though they're working on helping Gibson, get a comfortable catching the ball more out the backfield. Guess what? McKissic is going to get a lot of those touches still. So if you have the opportunity to draft him late, go on and pick him up, because you're going to get to a point in the draft where you're seeing some running backs. You're going to be like, well, who do I go with? You can go with him. Or if you reach for him a round or two earlier than where you expected him to go, it's going to pay off and you won't regret investing in J.D. McKissic. So go on and pick him up if you can in the draft, or if you can, if you're in a dynasty league and you're still looking to add some running back depth, go on and make a trade for him. You don't have to give up a first or second round pick for him. So just make the move. If you're gonna looking around that bench out, he's a solid player to add that to round that bench out. And during weeks where some of your starters may be on a bye week, he will definitely be a solid flex play. So don't wait until the season starts and now you're trying to make a move for him. Make the move when you have the chance. This is the chance right now if you're in a dynasty league to make a move for him. And then also when you do have your draft, don't wait until after the draft to try to trade for him and whatnot, or pick him up once the season starts and he's playing well. Be active, draft him late. All right, y'all. So one sleeper I am going to talk about briefly, who I feel is going to get some playing time this season due to the injury history of the running backs on the 49ers, Trey Sermon. He's 22 years old, drafted in the 3rd round. That's high for a team who just re-signed their starting running back. But if you notice a pattern with the San Francisco running backs, they're always hurt at some point. Jeff Wilson, he's going to be out a few weeks with an ACL injury. And then you got Mostert. He's a guy, he was just hurt pretty much the majority of the season. Didn't work out after he signed that nice contract. They signed Wayne Gallman from the Giants. He's actually durable. So if any of those two guys go down again, he'll be all right. However, Trey Sermon is someone you want to look at for a dynasty league. And you can just, if you're using a sleeper app, you can put him in your taxi squad and just let him sit there and then see what happens, because at some point he's going to get a chance to play and he's probably going to play well. He's going to be taking some touches away from somebody. Somebody's going to lose some carries, especially if anyone gets hurt, which we don't want to see, but it's part of the game. The running backs on the 49ers in Shanahan's system perform well. I haven't seen a running back come in there and not perform well. They all have performed well. So if given the opportunity, Trey Sermon is going to perform well. So you can draft him late in your dynasty league, because you're gonna have to draft some rookies. You're gonna, obviously, if you're doing if you're just starting the league, at some point you're gonna have to draft the rookies. But if you're doing if you already have your league going and this is just a draft with rookies, you're gonna be looking for some rookies to draft. He's a nice add to the taxi squad if you're using that sleeper app again, and it'll pay off at some point during the season or going forward in another year or two. All right, y'all. So let me know what you think. Who are you targeting in your drafts with the rookies late in those late rounds? If you have a draft where it's like one to 5 rounds of 5-6 rounds, who are you targeting in those drafts? If you are doing your research now and you're trying to figure out who should you add and pick as a sleeper late, who are you guys picking up? Are you guys looking at David Johnson and JD McKissic to fill out your team? All right, y'all, hit that like button if you want to see more fantasy football videos to help you get ready for the 2021 season and keep you ahead of your competition. And also hit that subscribe button to follow Waiver Wire Queen for more on fantasy sports. Follow me on Facebook, IG, Twitter, and TikTok at Waiver Wire Queen. Y'all have a great day. Peace.